progressive laws, high safety ratings, and some of the most LGBTQ friendly policies on the continent. What are we talking about? Uruguay. It's maybe South America's best kept secret when it comes to gay retirement. But what are some of the best cities in Uruguay for gay people to retire in?
This is Queer Money episode number 598, and today we're continuing our global analysis to help you find a fabulous place to retire. So, we first heard about some of these cities in Uruguay when we listened to Mark Goldstein's podcast, Where Do Gays Retire? And we had him on our show, and he highlighted some of these locations, I think particularly Montevideo, which we'll talk about here. So we've been excited to see what are some of the locations for LGBTQ plus retirees in Uruguay, and we're going to dive into that now. But last time we did a international series episode, we covered Portugal, and we got a lot of comments about Portugal. Seems to be a lot of excitement for many in the community about possibly moving to Portugal, even though there might be some tax law changes that might make that a little bit more expensive. If you caught that episode, great. Please remember to comment and share and like that so that other people see it. If you didn't catch it, certainly do so and let us know what you think. Our next country that we're going to be covering in 2 weeks is New Zealand. And that we're excited for.
Yeah.
NZ, yeah. David and I spent several week and a half there.
Yeah, 9 days.
Nine days there a couple of years ago, and we absolutely loved it. We would definitely want to return back. And they've made some updates to their golden visa, so that might be something that you'll want to check out, but we'll also share that in about 2 weeks. So this week we're covering Uruguay. Don't forget to comment what we got right, what we get wrong. You never refrain from letting us know what we got wrong.
Yeah, especially the pronunciation.
And definitely let us know what your personal experiences are in Uruguay, because I love these conversations. They seem to be very organic, and people are sharing their experiences, what's worked for them, what's not worked for them. And that is great information for other people trying to figure out where they want to retire. So starting from number 5, headed to number 1, David.
Coming in at number 5 is Paysandú, which, again, I'm sure somebody will correct my pronunciation there. Why is this a great place? Well, it is a historic riverside city that has colonial charm. So think places like Madrid or San Miguel de Allende. It has that kind of friendly atmosphere. It is a lower cost of living area than most of the coastal places that we'll be talking about here. Some of the downsides to it, though, that it is a smaller location, right? So because it's smaller, it's a smaller LGBTQ scene. There are fewer services, especially services for the queer community. But as far as the LGBTQ vibe, it has an inclusive but low-key vibe here. This is more suited towards those kind of retirees who are looking for a little bit of peace over the scene side of their lives, right? Some of the great queer perks here, though, is it does have affordable health care, and it does have a close-knit expat or immigrant community here. As for cost of living, you're going to find this is going to be the case for almost all of these cities here in Uruguay, is that they are considerably cheaper than the United States. Average rent for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Paysandú comes in around $600 to $800 a month. I think we have to go back to college to have rents that cheap, right?
The last time I paid $800 a month for rent was in 1999.
And you were sharing an apartment.
I was sharing an apartment. No,
right?
But yeah, so we split that. So it was $400 each of us. But yeah.
Yeah. As for overall costs of living, get this. The cost of living in Paysandú is about 34 to 43% of the national average in the United States. So you're looking at anywhere from about a 57 to 66% discount, or that's how much cheaper it is to live here than in the United States. So probably one of the biggest draws here is actually it's great for the budget conscious, but it is less of a nightlife kind of place. For this, we're giving it an overall queer money retirement rating of 6 out of 10.
Coming in at number 4 is Colonia del Sacramento. This is a UNESCO-listed city with charming architecture, quiet riverside living, if that's what you're looking for. And if you're looking for that protected heritage, this might be a place for you. That said, with that rating, oftentimes comes the tourism, and it definitely has its peak tourist seasons, which can be a drawback. And it also does have a relatively limited queer nightlife scene. So again, if you're looking for the oons, you may not necessarily find it here, but you're definitely going to get a lower cost of living, and you're definitely going to be welcome. The LGBTQ plus vibe is very friendly. It's a little hetero boomer, but it is very welcoming to the LGBTQ plus community. Some of the LGBTQ plus perks are that it's got scenic walks, a lot of safety, and there is a small but potentially growing LGBTQ plus community there. Average rent for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment are between $700 to $900 a month. Again, off the charts for savings for many in the US. So the overall cost of living is, again, similar range, 37 to 46% of the US national average. We're giving this a Queer Money retirement rating of 7 out of 10. It's charming, it's affordable, but again, the gay nightlife scene is a little bit limited. And we think that knowing our community in general, at some point that may become a bit of a drawback.
Right. Coming in at number 3 is the city of Punta del Este. Now, it is known as as Uruguay's Monaco of the South. This is one of your more luxury, prestige-looking kind of places. We know that the gays really do love this. So this is kind of your luxury coastal living. It has a vibrant summer life environment here. It does have its seasonal spikes and winter quietness, so that for some people might be seen as a downside. For some people, that actually might be a benefit. So keep that in mind. One of the things to keep in mind also about Uruguay is because Uruguay is on the southern side of South America, it's going to be more seasonally similar to the United States, where we have all 4 seasons. So you're going to find that in places in Uruguay. As for the LGBTQ vibe, it is high during the high season, right? It's during the summer season, just like in many U.S. cities. There's a lot of stuff going on for the queer community. So you do have Punta Pride. There's also the Soho nightclub. There is an upscale kind of queer friendly vibe going on in a number of spots there. As for the queer scene, there is a great beach culture going on. So we know gay men love to put on their Speedos and hop out to the beach. So you've got that going on, as well as arts festivals and strong queer visibility in Punta del Este. As for the average rent and cost of living, you're looking at it being about $1,000 to $1,200 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom place. Overall cost of living a little bit higher here, 57 to 71% lower than 57 to 71% of the U.S. national average. So you're still looking at a pretty significant discount here. For this reason, we're giving it a Queer Money retirement rating of 7.5 out of 10. It is one of the more trendier places to look for in Uruguay.
But it has its seasonal flair, and the trendier thing has its drawbacks, but it also has its perks.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 2, our runner-up here is Jose Ignacio. This is for those who are craving exclusivity. This is a boutique beach retreat town, popular with the international crowd. So if you like your Grindr account updating on the regular, this is probably the place that you want to live. But it offers quiet luxury. The downsides is that because of all that, hopefully this is going to be a surprise to you. It's very expensive. Small year-round population and minimal infrastructure, but it is exclusive. It is fancy. It's for the sophisticated gays who want to be discreet. It's ideal for those who are valuing privacy. So maybe I don't know. Maybe do the gay celebrities go there?
Maybe the South American, maybe the Argentinian and Uruguayan celebrities go there.
Oh, yeah, I would love that. So the queer perks, that's got a private villa style lifestyle, chic beach culture, and top tier hospitality. The average rent goes about $1,500 on up per month. That does adjust drastically based on the season, but that would change accordingly if you were going to stay for 12 months or more. The overall cost of living, not too much of a savings, which may not be a surprise after the description we've given you so far. You're looking at 71% to pretty much on par with the U.S. national average. For all these reasons, we're giving it a Queer Money retirement rating of 8 out of 10. It's got the elite coastal vibe, but it's also much more refined. So you'll have the inclusion, the acceptance, the sophistication, but you may not necessarily have the affordability.
Right. So coming in at number 1, the city that probably most of us know because it's the capital city, Montevideo. Now, Montevideo, why is this a great place? Well, first of all, it is the capital city, right? So it's going to be, it is the biggest city. It's going to have the most nightlife. It's going to have the better quality of life, the more international scene going on here. So you're going to find a lot of cultural richness. And the other nice thing is it is considered a safe city, especially in general for individuals who are traveling or living there as expats or immigrants. Some of the downsides, it is a slightly more expensive city than the rest of the ones we've talked about, but it does also, for for the queer scene, it does have a slightly toned down nightlife scene than maybe some of the mega cities we're used to hearing about around the world, like Barcelona or New York or Lisbon in Portugal, right? So it's going to be a little bit more toned down. As for the LGBTQ vibe, it is kind of the central hub for the country. It does have a robust queer nightlife. It does have a couple of clubs that are well known, Chains Pub and Canes Club. There's kind of a play on words going on there, I think. There are also queer spots throughout the city. There are plazas where queer people gather. And it does have its annual Pride, which attracts about 120,000 people. So you are talking about a pretty decent sized Pride going on here.
Yeah, totally.
As for queer perks, there are strong legal protections. There are queer friendly neighborhoods or neighborhoods. One of those is called Ciudad Vieja, and the other one is called Poquitos. And one of the interesting things about Uruguay is that LGBTQ acceptance has been going on for a long, long time in the country. They actually had marriage equality, I think, start in
70s, I think.
No, I think that they got marriage equality in 2013. But as far as acceptance of the LGBT community, it does go back to the 70s. And so you're looking at a country where kind of the whole idea of needing to have our own separate spaces is starting to drift away because there is mass acceptance. As a matter of fact, in Montevideo, there is a multi-story mural of two men who are dancing together in a very typical Latin dance that where they're holding each other. We'll try to post a picture of that. But it's just so common that when you go to a bar or a club and it's not necessarily a gay bar, it is very common to see same-sex couples interacting with opposite-sex couples. And as far as dancing and enjoying intimacy together, it is very common all throughout the country. So there isn't as much of a need for these kind of queer spaces as we are used to here in the United States, especially as things get worse. As for cost of living, average rent here goes from about $900 to $1,200 for a one-bedroom, about $1,200 to $1,500 for a two-bedroom. Overall cost of living is still considerably less than the United States. You're looking at 43 to 66%, so a huge discount here. And for that reason, we are giving it a Queer Money retirement rating of 9 out of 10. It is the city in Uruguay that you would say this is probably the balance of culture and nightlife and safety and queer life and all the things that I really want is all in one location. So a lot of people look to that as the major spot to go to in Uruguay.
Right. So you might be asking, why is there no city that got a 10 out of 10? Well, based on what we've heard from you over the last several years of what you are looking for, the kind of expectations you have for where you live, none of them really was enough for us to give it a 10 out of 10. And here are some examples. Uruguay overall does have limited LGBTQ plus infrastructure. While Uruguay is legally progressive, has marriage equality, trans rights, adoption, anti-discrimination laws, etc., the day-to-day LGBTQ plus visibility and infrastructure, such as bars and social groups, events, whatnot, it's noticeably smaller than in many other places that we've talked about, even so far, such as Madrid, Lisbon, and Puerto Vallarta. That could be due to, as David said, just the large acceptance and the long history of acceptance of the community. But if you're looking for that kind of vibe, especially in your retirement, this may not necessarily give you what you're looking for. Most queer life in Uruguay is centered around Montevideo. Outside of that, it's definitely very limited. And that might be frustrating to some of you, even though you may be saving a ton of money in retirement. It does have a higher cost for less lifestyle per dollar. When you think about it, Uruguay is relatively expensive for Latin America, especially for imported goods, electronics, vehicles. So there is a premium to some of those sort of conveniences that you might be familiar with. Although the healthcare is solid, but private care access for expats is more limited than, say, maybe Portugal or Spain. So some things are maybe a little bit frustrating to some folks.
As for climate and isolation, that's a couple of other things that we want to definitely talk about. As I mentioned before, it is on the southern side of the southern side of South America. So you are going to deal with winters being cooler and damper than, say, for example, some of the beach retirement paradises that we have normally talked about, like Puerto Vallarta or other places in Mexico or southern Spain, especially in cities like Montevideo and Punta del Este. For North Americans, it is also geographically remote, right? It takes a long time. There are long flights to get to Uruguay. We're talking about the other side of the world, right? So there are fewer direct options to get there. There isn't a huge time gap. There is a 1 hour time gap between Uruguay and the United States, but they also don't observe daylight savings. So when we fall back, there will actually be in the fall, when we fall back, there will actually be a 2 hour time gap. So it's one of the other downsides is this idea that there is a little bit of a time difference between the United States and Uruguay. The other thing is that there is a limited queer expat community or immigrant community, and I think that's part of the reason is because it is so far away. It's not the kind of place where a lot of people are immediately attracted to because of its distance. But keep in mind, it has a very welcoming vibe there to the LGBT community. So you may not find the large visible queer expat hubs like you do in Spain or like Sitges or Lisbon in Portugal, but there is definitely a sense of community and belonging. The podcast episode that John referred to at the beginning, I had listened to that, and the lesbian couple that were being interviewed who were from the United States talked about how most of their friends were straight, but very, very welcoming. And it was no problem for them to go out to a bar and hold hands or to dance together when most of the people there they were with were straight. It's just that kind of welcoming vibe there.
Yeah, so from rustic riverside life in Paysandú to the chic streets of Montevideo, Uruguay offers something for every queer retiree. If you're dreaming of sun, security, and progressive values, it might just be your fabulous retirement chapter. So which city sounds like it hits your vibe? Let us know in the comments. We would definitely love to hear from you. Don't forget to grab your Happy Gay Retirement Calculator to start planning your own fabulous retirement abroad, which will put that QR code over my face today, since David seems to think it's always over his face. For the Queer Money Retirement Rating Card or our scoring criteria, go to queermoneypodcast.com/cities or click the link in the description below if you're watching on YouTube or the link in your podcast player.
As for what's coming up next week, join us when we'll talk about the things that we wish that we had done to plan ahead for retirement. We missed a few, made a few mistakes, and we wanted to share those with you. And the week after that, we are going to take a look at New Zealand, as John had mentioned at the outset.
NZ.
Yep. And if you love this episode, please remember to like, subscribe, share it with your friends who also want to retire abroad. And until next time, stay fabulous. And if Uruguay seems a bit too far away for you and your bae, and you want to be a cheap but exotic gay, check out this video on retiring in Mexico.